Hey everybody, welcome to a Friday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder here. We're sitting here doing what we normally do. It's called Box Seats. It's a show where comics talk sports. Like I said, I'm your host, Frank Holder. That's Fig, that's Rodney Perry. If you guys are not familiar, these guys have been in the comedy business for years, since Def Comedy Jam and before Comic View, all of that. They come all the way up. They've been in films, television, commercials. You name a comedy show, they've been on it. And let's just be honest, be real. So now, since we say we're going to talk about sports, the news just broke literally 10 minutes ago that the New England Patriots have closed their facility on Friday because they're looking at one definite positive test. We're waiting for a confirmation of two positive tests. This is on the heels of news this morning that the Colts also has some positive tests. And the news also that Odell Beckham got sent home because he was sick. I'm going to talk about all three of these things. Let me just jump in first about talking about the Patriots. The Patriots right now have no flexibility on their schedule, Rodney. None. And the NFL has to be looking at that because what they did was they flexed out with the Denver Broncos, and because Denver Broncos had a bye week, the Patriots had a bye week. Now, neither one of those teams have a bye week, so they have to play this Sunday, which to me is literally starting to make no sense because now I'm thinking that there are going to be some players on those fields of both teams who are going to be nervous to play against one another because they know some people have got the virus and, just haven't tested positive yet. But anyway, what's your thoughts, Rodney? If you're sitting there, you're a player let's just say you're a player on the Denver Broncos and the Patriots got some of these, testing positive on that. What's your thought process of sitting there even walking on the field?
I mean, this is the deal, man. This COVID-19 is real. And I don't think the NFL is really even I think the owners, the rich billionaire owners, they just don't believe in this whole thing that's COVID-19. And because of that, they're putting these players in harm's way. And I don't think they can do it much longer.
I have to agree with that. Fig, what you think?
They're taking it lightly, like Rodney said, and the thing is that even though they having positive tests come up, they're still not postponing the games, which is big.
As of now. But here's another topic that nobody's talking about, okay? Odell Beckham, he got sent home because he was sick. They sent you home. The underlying story in that they're not mentioning is think of the fear that's going into these people. And they're like, oh, you sick, you sneezing, what's wrong with you? You can't be around the facility. Like, right. You gotta go home. You see where I'm going with this, Rodney? Like
he may not even have it.
Right.
He might it might be some other.
I think his phone just went in and out. Go ahead. What you think?
The thing is that although he went home sick, he tested negative for the COVID. So he didn't even test positive. They already did the test on him. They came back negative, but they sent him home anyway.
Right. So since they sent him home, I think that brings on the whole fact being, Rodney, is that there's going to be a fear factor level of players and coaches and management. Like if you can't even walk in a facility if people even think you're sick, and let's be honest, man, it's flu season, it's cold season, it's all, you know what I mean? The fear factor level is going to be high. Right.
I mean, there's due to be another wave of COVID-19. I'm a COVID survivor, and the fear is real. And get this. Even the doctors and nurses, when you have COVID, don't even come in your room. So, of course, players are going to be fearful, to infect parents and children, wives and pregnant girlfriends and older people. I mean, you got to think about all that. So it's a lot, man. And the NFL is going to have to do something real soon. We've been saying that for weeks.
Right. We've been talking about it for weeks. And if you all recall, if you watched the show, you recall, I literally said a week ago that mathematically it's going to start affecting all the teams, whether you want it to or not, and look at this. We were not even 4 or 5 days ago, we were talking about the Bengals and we were talking about the Falcons. Then we were talking about the Chiefs, because the Chiefs had it. I mean, we were just talking about a lot of teams who's starting to get it.
Or people not getting paid or
right.
Well, the first conversation was the bye week, where they got the bye week so they can figure it out. But like you say, now the bye week is gone. Now what?
I think it's really completely up in the air what they're going to do. But I think the NFL, I'm going to throw this to you, Fig. you think the NFL should really start having a conversation now about figuring out what they're going to do with this season? Because some teams are not going to have no more flexibility, room for flex. You know, I honestly, I'd hate for them to have to cancel the season, but they're going to have to figure out something. You know, I hate for them to cancel the season because I got Cam Newton on my team. You know what I mean? If my team ain't won a game, I'd be like, listen, cancel the season, let's start all over. You know what I mean?
Well, let me tell you like this. This time we really can't blame the NFL and the owners, because it came down to a vote. I heard this yesterday. I forgot what I was watching or what I was listening to, but I heard it yesterday. It was brought to a vote, and they was thinking about keeping each individual team after the game is over in a particular bubble in the hometown that they were from, and the Players Association voted against it.
Mm-hmm.
So the players are not even taking this serious. So I place the blame where the blame is supposed to be. I'm not blaming the NFL and the NFL ownership on this one. The players decided, and the Players Association works for the players, and the players decided that they didn't want to be in a bubble. You know what I mean? They didn't want to do like the NBA. So they're taking it lightly also. I go back to a few weeks ago what I said. Unfortunately, the way America is, I think that somebody prominent, really prominent, has to die from the COVID in order for people to sort of like kick in and be like, oh, this is real. You know, I hate to go back to this because he's one of my favorite players. This is absolutely no shade at all. I love this man to this day. Magic Johnson, when he tested positive for HIV. That's it seemed like when the whole world was like, wait a minute, we got to do something, because he was beloved. You understand what I'm saying? He was beloved.
But when Rock Hudson got it first, before that, I think the world took notice. You know what I mean? I think it affected the sports world on a whole nother level when we got it, because at that time, everybody just knew you caught it and you died. You know, Magic proved that you could catch it, HIV, and not die. I think that's the whole big thing about that. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying when he first announced it, the thing was that Magic was considered to be young and healthy, and he was an athlete. Rock Hudson was he was kind of old. You know what I mean? He's like an older man.
But the thing is, back then, again, when Magic got it, he came for, everybody thought he was going to die. You know what I mean? There wasn't a thing past it. It was almost a death sentence when you heard that somebody had AIDS or HIV. We didn't even know the separation between AIDS and HIV at that time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I completely understand the point you're trying to make, but let me say this. And I'm going to throw this to Roddy, then we can move on. I want to say this. I think that I agree with you, but I think the biggest component upon this whole thing is like what we were just talking about 2 seconds ago. It's the fear factor. You know what I mean? It's the fear factor that's going to be going around in the facilities. And even though the NFLPA said that it wasn't everybody in NFLPA, that certain players voted against that, and certain players voted for it. So that's how they move in the NFLPA. You know what I mean? I'm sure there were players who were like, I'm down for go for a bubble because I don't want to get my mom, my grandma, my babies, they're all sick. I'm down for that. But so I just want to throw that out there. Rodney, what's your last thought on that?
I mean, dude, being a guy that been through COVID-19, it's again, man, it's probably way more serious than everybody's giving it credit for. And I get the players, NFL players are not like NBA players. They don't have as much money. There's a lot of guys that aren't making crazy money. I mean, it's only the top, 3% of players that make the lion's share of the money. Everybody else got to work or they don't eat. And so, I mean, if you want to see some big old dudes at your local grocery store, you want them guys working.
Right.
Absolutely. And the life expectancy of an NFL player is about 3 to 5 years.
Right.
Very short time.
Most of the time, it's mostly 3. You know what I mean?
Right.
Players say 5 years, and then those guys are the guys who on 3 years. They're doing from paycheck to paycheck. Let's be honest. But now let's lighten the mood. Let's throw out. We talked about COVID enough. We did that. That's a drink. And then we'll talk about Atlanta.
You said this sneezing earlier. What they gonna do this sneezing? Hilarious. I know you didn't say it on purpose, but that was the funniest moment of the whole show since we've been on.
Well, the Atlanta Braves, they played last night. Atlanta, they bashed the Dodgers 3-1. Clayton Kershaw came out. We were all sitting there saying, "Oh, Clayton Kershaw going to at least get this thing to be tied 2-2." He got destroyed last night. I think he stayed in too long. You know what I mean? And this seems to be the thing that's continuously going on. Now, I don't know if Dave Roberts is the manager for them, for the Dodgers. I don't know. But Rodney, I'm going to throw this out to you. Do you think that Clayton Kershaw is the man, or maybe they need to get past him, or maybe something wrong with Dave Roberts? Because, right,
man, you know, I hate to say I hate to say when you guys are right, but y'all talked about pitching at the beginning of these baseball playoffs, and pitching is making a difference. I think they're running into the same problem that they ran into with the basketball bubble, is that you got to play way sooner than you normally would have. Mm-hmm. And so that is creating that problem. That arm usually used to sitting for 4 days before we run it again, and they run it quicker. So I think that's affecting, guys like Kershaw and guys that can hit, but mm-hmm. guys that can pitch can't pitch every day.
Yeah, and it seems like they're pitching every other day. That's the crazy thing about it.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
It's fixed. So what's your thought process on, do you think they should get rid of Dave Roberts? Thank you.
Listen, the thing is that I think they kept Kershaw in, like you said, a little too long. Mm-hmm. Kershaw in was, I think he was in 6 innings, and he went to the 7th inning.
Yeah. But he did good for the first 5.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
He should be able to pitch more than 6 innings.
Yeah, but here's the one part. He was coming off of back spasms the day before.
Yeah.
So the man is not 100%. Why would you give me? I mean, look, a baseball game is 9 innings. If you get a good 5 out of your star pitcher coming off an injury,
over half.
Let him go. Let him sit down. Bring somebody else in, and the only reason I'm saying that is because he didn't pitch last game because he had back spasms.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
so he ain't 100%.
But the rotation is tighter. So guys used to have a couple of days. You can't run 2 guys in a game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You put 2 guys in the game. Now you don't have a guy 2 games later. You got to think of the whole series. So, I mean, what you're saying, I think, is absolutely right. But I understand why they're having problems.
Yeah, but Dave Roberts, I think, might get fired, and then LA won't be talking that trash that they've been talking for a while, because they expected to win the World Series, but they've been the best team in baseball for the last couple of months. For the last couple of years, they've been overall the best, team, and then the management's paid a lot of money. Like I said yesterday, they got Mookie Betts. They paid a lot of money for Clayton Kershaw. They're expected to win the World Series. That's just what it is. Right?
I mean, Dodgers kicked their butt the other day, though. Like I thought he was gonna even up the series, and Atlanta came back like, "Yo, get back, Jack."
Yeah, it's 3-1 now, Atlanta. You know what I mean? And that's, like we said yesterday, it's the bright spot in Atlanta right now is the Braves. Braves are doing it.
Where did they play last night? Were they in Atlanta?
No, I think they were supposed to be in the Dodgers, but it doesn't really matter because it's not not a lot of people in the stands anyway. You know what I mean? So,
no, I'm not talking about the stands. I just wanted to know whether Atlanta the players had the potential to go on down to Magic City. Maybe that's why they got a little. Maybe that's why they got a little more wood in those bats.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the Houston Astros now. Houston, they got a walk-off homer. Houston now is almost there. It's 3-2 Tampa Bay. Houston's starting to feel it, but you know what? Dusty Baker right now. Nobody talk about Dusty Baker being manager of the year. Dusty Baker got on the team, started managing a team that everybody thought was going to be trash because they lost their manager, and they had a huge cheating scandal hanging over their head. Now they're coming back. If they tie this series, heaven forbid, if they tie this series, should Dusty Baker be manager of the year? Hell, should he be manager of the year tomorrow, whether he tied the series or not? What you think, Rodney?
Hey, father was Dusty Baker is manager of the year every year. Dusty Baker is cold, man. Like, I mean, I was in the Bay Area when Dusty was up there in San Francisco coaching them guys. And yeah. He's just a Hall of Fame coach, and he always makes the right move. Like, some guys at tough situations get flustered. Dusty Baker's never gets flustered, and that's his upside for me.
Right. Fig, you think he's not getting enough credit?
Hey, man, listen. I don't know how you overlook a dude with a name like Dusty on the baseball field. You know what I mean?
And,
I mean, his
and
name
you're
is
a black man, so
Dusty.
you know you need lotion.
You know what I mean? Dusty. You know, man, you got to give that man some credit. You got to give Dusty Baker some credit, man, especially what he's doing. Like, you saying to yourself, like, this is not the most talented team, yet they seem to achieve. They seem to be doing their thing. So, yeah, man, I think, he got my vote because his name is Dusty.
Let's move the conversation on, man. There was another big news item yesterday that happened. Ty Lue signed with the Clippers. Right?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Ty Lue signs with the Clippers. It sends shockwaves throughout the NBA. I want to ask you, Rodney, do you think that was a good signing for Ty Lue to sign with the Clippers? You know, as to be the head coach.
I'm on record, man. I thought his loyalty to Doc Rivers would keep him signing there, and obviously I'm more loyal to Doc Rivers than Ty Lue is. But I mean that's probably one of the reasons he decided to go there. Maybe he knew Doc wasn't going to stay there long. You know what I mean? And because I mean he's really a top candidate. As we talk coaches, he's a top candidate because he was up for the Laker job.
Mm-hmm.
He's been up for the prime time job. I mean, rings matter. Rings matter on the court, and rings matter with coaching. And so, you know, we can, you know, I talked to some of my friends this morning. They was like, well, you know, he got the ring. Just, you know, LeBron got that for him. I'm like, well, so what? He got a ring, and he was a coach of a team that won those rings. So, big ups to Ty Lue, man. Hey, we just hope he can do for Can't Get Right and Paul George for the.
Wait, that's Can't Get Right 1 and 2.
Oh my God!
Paul George can't get right either.
Exactly. Yeah, he had a mental breakdown in the bubble. But I mean, if anybody can get him there, Ty Lue should be the guy to do it.
All right, Fig, let me ask you this. Same question, but let's even put into the equation too. Ty Lue brought the Cleveland Cavaliers to the NBA Finals 3 years in a row. You know what I mean? That's on his resume. You know what I mean? So whether you want to look at it or not, people want to say, yeah, I don't know. You know, people don't say, oh, you got here because of LeBron. They look at your resume, your overall body of work. They ain't even look at your team. You know what I mean? So I think it's a great signing. I mean, you know, but what you think, Fig?
I think that, look, you can say what you want, but you don't win in the NBA without stars. It's a star-driven league.
Mm-hmm.
So every coach, I can't think of one coach where the team won an NBA championship and they didn't have like no stars on the team. The only one that got close was Eric Spoelstra in Miami with Jimmy Butler and the boys. He was the only one that got close.
Right.
And
maybe
Jimmy Butler is a
really
star.
Didn't have no stars.
Say what?
Toronto really didn't have no stars.
They had Kawhi.
Yeah, they're a star.
I mean, but he was gimpy that year. He came through though.
But he was gimpy and the Warriors got injured out.
Yeah.
You lost KD, you lost Thompson, Kevon Looney, Cousins was down. They lost damn near the whole starting five.
Cousins still down.
Cousins
still down.
Still, right.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think that Ty Lue, not only is he good with the X and O's, his proven ability is being able to manage egos and get everybody on the same page, because clearly you have superstars, you have stars, and then you have the others. And Ty Lue was able to galvanize all of them, you know what I mean, when he was in Cleveland. And I would imagine that Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, is thinking that he has the ability to do the same thing with that organization.
All right, check this out.
And the word for the day is galvanize.
Check this out. I just got an alert that Anthony Davis opted out and is officially.
Oh!
Hold on. He opted out, but he officially is about to re-sign another contract again to be with the Lakers. Rich Paul is officially the agent of record for doing this. So Anthony Davis opts out, and then to re-sign again with the Lakers, it's going to become official in the next 48, 72 hours. Just like that, Athletic is reporting that news. So I guess the question is Rodney Perry, are you surprised that Anthony Davis is going to stick with the Lakers? Because I know I'm not. I'm not surprised.
No surprise on that one. I mean, I think I mean, if he had left, that would have indicated that maybe there was an issue with LeBron. Maybe there was some, but I mean, looking at his face, the guy looked genuinely happy, and I think we can see the writing on the wall as LeBron begins to decline. He's going to hand that team off to AD, and AD is on the way.
Right. Fig, are you surprised? Because I know you and Talent was if he might go to the Knicks, in the offseason. He might off. Actually, you never said that. Talent said that. Right. Talent said that. Go ahead. Any surprise?
I'm not surprised that he opted out because he stands the chance of gaining a lot more money either way. If he signs with the Lakers or he signs with another team, so opting out of your contract is not a big deal for AD. My only problem is people say that when LeBron decides to leave, he's going to leave the reins to AD. I just heard today that they're looking at possibly signing Chris Paul. Mm-hmm. So people, this is like a stretch, so just bear with me. People always say when LeBron leaves an organization, the organization falls apart. Well, that determines on who you add to the organization while LeBron is still there. The only fit player they got there right now is AD and a suspect Kuzma. Everybody else is journeyman. So if LeBron leaves, or they gave Chris Paul, and then LeBron leaves, and then Chris Paul leaves, who AD gonna be there with?
Mm-hmm. But they'll listen. The Lakers will make some moves.
Yeah, and you're gonna build a team around.
They ain't make no moves with Chris Paul and
let
LeBron.
me just say this for the record
until they leave.
Let me say this for the record. AD opted out of his existing contract to be able to sign a contract that's going to make him make more money.
Absolutely.
So let's throw that out there. So, but he's also going to sign a contract according to what the rumors are. That's still going to keep him year to year. You know what I mean? So he's gonna he's gonna do that year to year thing. So if AD does do the year to year thing and LeBron leaves and it doesn't look good for him, I think he's out. I think he's going to go to Chicago because he's from Chicago. I think he's going to go to the Bulls because he already got his ring. If he gets 2 rings, then he'll be happy, and he wants to play for his hometown. He said that on record several times. I think he's going to want to go back home to Chicago. I can see that happen. I mean,
that would be insane. If AD went to the Bulls right now, they would be a contender because
I'm not saying right now. I'm saying
no. I'm just hypothetically.
Yeah,
I just hypothetically. If he goes to the Bulls right now, that's a contender team because the one piece that the Bulls was missing was a center.
Yeah, right. But he wants to play back for the Bulls. But I think he's gonna stay with LA for maybe a couple more years with LeBron. See what happens. See if they get some rings. Let's say they win 2 more rings, 3 more rings. Let's just say that happens. I think at the end of that opt-out year when he can, I think he'll go to play for the Bulls. You know what I mean? But Rodney, that's just my thought. You know what I mean? I mean, anything can happen 2 years down the line. What you think, Rod?
I mean, that's a great theory, man. Again, Frank, you good for throwing up a Pelican brief, but the reality is, I mean, if they get 2 more rings with the Lakers, AD ain't going nowhere.
No, I think he would.
He's gonna be a Laker, and he's gonna go down in Laker lore. He's gonna be up there in the rafters with people like Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Kobe Bryant. I think that matters to him. He can always go home on the off season. And how about this? People that go home usually get in trouble.
Okay, but Rodney, if he wins 2 more rings with the Lakers and he goes to Chicago, he's still gonna be Laker lore. He's still gonna get a statue. He's still gonna be. It ain't gonna change nothing. But you gotta also remember, he's from Chicago. He would be coming home to the man to be bringing stuff. Listen, it's just a theory, but a lot of players want to play for their hometown. You know what I mean?
It's a great theory again, but man, come on, man, going home, we got to get all them cousins and stuff, tickets every week. You know what you do? He'll rather be in LA when he ain't got to see all the people, man. I'm telling you, man.
Let me just.
It's gonna be like a whole stand full of people with that eyebrow thing. He's got his whole company out today to look at the brow gang.
Fig, what'd you think?
No, I was the thing that I'm saying is that I believe that you're right, but one little caveat to add to that: if he gets traded, then maybe he stays Laker royalty. If he leaves on his own, I'm not so sure. Even if he gets 2 more rings, because the one person we didn't name was Shaq. Shaq won 3 championships there. Is he considered Laker royalty? I think he should be.
Yes,
I think he should be.
He is.
But Shaq got traded.
Yes.
He got traded. He didn't leave. He did get traded. Him and Kobe wasn't getting along, and they decided to trade Shaq and keep Kobe.
All right, well, let me just say this to you. The Lakers and Jeanie Buss is never going to trade AD as long as he is the center main draw. They need a draw for tickets. They want to draw. They don't want to become the Clippers, because if they, let's say they trade, let's say then the Clippers would be the best team in town, and they're not having that. They're not having everybody buy more tickets than the Clippers than the Lakers, because the Clippers now have more people on the team. That's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? They're going to lean their meat person pack. But let me ask you this, Rodney, to change the subject on this. Like yesterday, I brought up Fred VanVleet and Brandon Ingram becoming the hot thing. Since yesterday to today, it's picked up more steam right now that they're going to have serious talks with Miami. I mean, within the last 24 hours, because as we know, because of what's going on with the NBA season, it's rapidly moving a lot faster than what it normally would. But if Brandon Ingram and Fred VanVleet go down to Miami and they go down together and everything else, and they sit down with oh my God, I can't think of his name. You know the guy who
Jimmy Butler?
No.
Pat Riley.
If they sit down with Pat Riley, I don't think they leave without becoming part of the Miami Heat. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen. That's what I just think. If they go down there,
you know, Pat Riley's a very convincing guy, and it's a lot of good reasons to go to Miami. First of all, you've been in Toronto, for God's sake. Please go.
Right
on that. You know, if you Fred VanVleet, and then let's not forget that Miami money is all tax free.
Right.
So the money is the money. Like if it's $1 million, it's $1 million, and so that makes a big difference. So, and I think VanVleet just a really dynamic guy, and that's one of the missing components this year with Miami was some real guard play. And Jimmy Butler shouldn't have had to do that, and so because of that, I think that's a good move over there. Brandon Ingram, I mean that sounds dope to me. I just don't know a lot about the guy.
Well, Brandon Ingram is a wing player. He's a phenomenal off shooting guard and forward. That boy, he's a beast. He's a beast. I'll throw this out to you, Fig. I'll ask
Who
you
do
this.
they get rid of, if anybody?
Well, first of all, Dragic is not going to be able to resign for the money because he's going to get the highest paid. Now, I think if Pat Riley sits there and he's looking at Dragic or Fred VanVleet, I think he's going to take Fred VanVleet. You know what I mean? To put VanVleet up with that kid Hero. I think that's what he's going to do. But Fig, if Brandon Ingram goes down there, they're going to say everything that Riley says, and they're going to say this because he's a young kid. They're going to be like, Fred VanVleet's married with a kid, but they're going to say, Brandon, the nightlife is phenomenal too. You know what I mean? I don't think he leaves. I think he's like, you know what? This is Miami. You know what I mean? That's what I just think. I don't see him leaving. You know?
Right.
You know?
Hey,
what you
let
think?
me tell you something. People talk about Atlanta. Them Miami Knights is special.
Right?
Very true.
Right.
Let me tell you this. Somebody just said that Brandon Ingram is a restricted free agent, and New Orleans would have to match whatever offer they got.
Again, I'm throwing out hypothetical. I know
hypothetical.
I know this way. Hold on. Let me say this for the record. I know he's a restricted free agent. I know New Orleans could pick that, but that's not the point. The point is, if New Orleans does match the money and Miami matches the money, which team do you think he's going to go to? You know what I mean? New Orleans or Miami? You know what I mean? And considering everything, all of it, not just the team, the living situation, the city you're in, the Miami tax-free, no money. New Orleans, they tax out their ass. Not to mention, New Orleans as a city is nothing like Miami. So I want to say that for the record. Go ahead, Fig. Say what you want.
I think, listen, Pat Riley is like the Godfather. It's kind of hard to say no to Pat Riley. You know what I mean? They do treat their players well. I mean, he had a few faux pas down there with D Wade, when it came to D Wade getting his money and LeBron left. But overall, Miami does take care of their players. You know what I mean? Right. There's some guys that have been there for a long time, even after their retirement and stuff like that. So Miami, look, Miami is I can't say anything bad about it. I mean, you know what I mean? The one thing that I would like to add, Brandon Ingram is not a center. They still going to need a center to take that banging because ain't none of them dudes down there match up with AD. You gonna have to see him. You know, you still gonna have to see them big boys. And Miami plays in the East. You know what I'm saying? They play in the East, so there's some big boys you're gonna have to contend with in the East. And Brandon Ingram is slender built.
Let me just throw this last thing out there too before I bring in Stat and say this too. The Pelicans don't even have a coach. So the last option also to even say that too is that if you're Brandon Ingram, you go to play for one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the league, or you can stick around in New Orleans and yeah, you might get your contract matched and everything else, but you don't know what's going to happen or which direction the team's going to go. So I think it's a no-brainer if I'm Brandon Ingram. But Stat,
get out of New Orleans, B.
Huh?
Get out of New Orleans.
Oh yeah, get out.
Horrible NBA city.
How? Checking the facts with Stacks. What's up, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. You know, y'all kept it clean today, talking about all the seasons and sneezings. You know, I think Van Vliet is going to replace Dragic. Ingram, I think he'll cause kind of a logjam over there because they already have a lot of wings, and Ingram is a prime time player right now. I call him baby KD right now. That's how he's playing. 6'11" with guard skills, and he's shooting from everywhere right now. So yeah, I don't know about him going to Miami as far as fit. And I think Bam Adebayo can bang with any big in the league. Big, by the way. But
Bam is the man.
He play, and he's not a little guy, but he's like Fig say he's slim. But I mean, how many bigs are big nowadays?
Right.
I mean, nobody matches up with AD. Like nobody. I mean, even when he was in college, nobody could match up with him. I mean, he grew like I think 8 or 9 inches in college. He was actually recruited to Kentucky to play point guard, and between his freshman and I believe sophomore or junior year, he grew to like 6'10". But he came in as a 6'2" point guard. So that's why he's a center with guard skills, because he was a guard all through high school.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I was going to say about Brandon Ingram. Although he's another wing, he's a wing that has a handle that could get his own shot. Like Brandon Ingram can take you off the dribble.
Right? Unlike Jason Tatum, who has a hard time dribbling the ball because I think he grew too fast. You know what I mean? I think he grew so fast.
He'll come into it though.
I'm not saying he won't. We talk about right now. We talk about players who can handle the ball and dribble right now. I think sometimes when players grow, if whatever their position was when they were younger and they were smaller, they tend to get bigger. They tend to get better in that same position or whatever they're playing. For example, if you're a guard and you end up becoming a center because you grew so fast, you're still going to have your guard skills. But if you're not used to handling the ball, and people are forcing, like again, Jason Tatum is the perfect example. He wasn't used to playing guard. He was always used to playing forward, and he grew too fast. That's why he always has issues handling the ball and dribbling. He's just not that guy. But before I continue on with these conversations and everything else, I need to get out. I want to jump in and talk about the NFL and the NBA and a couple other teams and things. But before I even forget, we need to bring in Fig, let Fig do this segment that we want to do every Friday, and it's called Top Dog. So Fig.
I got the top dogs of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. We're going all the way back to last week. I got to give it one of the top dogs for this week is my man Russell Wilson, taking the Seattle Seahawks to a 5-0, getting that win, squeaking it out over the Vikings in a 27-26. He had to do a 94-yard drive at the end of the game to be able to win that. Gotta give it to my man Russell Wilson making it happen with the Seattle Seahawks. Another dude from Seattle, I got to show him some love. They call him the second coming of Megatron. My man, DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks. Man, he put it down that day. 93 yards, 6 receptions, 2 touchdowns. DK Metcalf bringing it in. Ladies and gentlemen, the Herculean effort of my man Derek Carr from the Las Vegas Raiders over the Kansas City Chiefs in a shootout.
Man, that dude passed a great game.
Patrick Mahomes in a 40-32 game. Listen, This is not a longevity award. This is from 1 week, 1 game, 1 time only. I got to give it to Derek Carr doing this thing down there in Las Vegas with all the distractions. Not last but not least, number 4, I got to bring up from the New Orleans Saints in the comeback 30-27 over the Chargers. I got to give it to the old guy. You know who I'm talking about. AARP. Geriatric quarterback himself, Mr. Drew Brees. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, getting it done for that. Who that say they gonna beat them damn Saints? That's what I'm talking about. Drew Brees. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, bringing it up from the rear, number 5. I got to give it to my man, Mr. O. Henry. Derek Henry. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, running back from the Titans. Remember the Titans? Well, let me tell you, somebody's going to remember the Titans. My man Josh Norman is going to always remember the Titans.
Wow.
The way he got run over. Now, if y'all remember, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Norman was the dude who got into a fight with Odell Beckham Jr. a couple years back when he was on the Giants trying to play like he was a tough guy until he ran into Henry, Derrick Henry, mashing him down in the ground, giving him the stiff arm, throwing him, made all the sports news, baby, running over Mr. Josh Norman, giving it to the Tennessee Titans. And those are my top dogs for the week. Let me hear you bark.
I have to say, Fig, I can't disagree. Not one person. I agree with everything. But I don't know if you did it from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5, but Derrick Henry has got to be the biggest top dog of the week. The way he,
no doubt,
like that, man, that was a highlight that Josh Norman will never live down.
His grandkids gonna be seeing that one.
Oh, that the game out of that Raiders quarterback though out of car, man, was incredible, dude.
Yeah, that was
played the hell out of that game, and you shouted out who else you shot? My man beat Kansas City. Yeah, I mean, great day. It was a great football weekend too.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Josh Norman got so bad, like when he go home and cuss out his kids, he's like, "Hey, I told y'all to get in there." He's like, "You wasn't talking to that to Derrick Henry. Why you? Why you ain't say all that when you was trying to tackle Derrick Henry and he mushed you in the face? You got mushed."
Right. Let's not forget the sneezing is almost over too.
Almost over. Yeah. Since we talk about football, let's talk about Le'Veon Bell, because we were talking about. We were talking about a couple of days about which team he might go down to and everything else. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I am not surprised he signed with the Chiefs. I'm not at all, not in the least. It fits their, what they need. They need a running back who also is a catching back. They need that. It will literally help them because the Chiefs, like I said a couple of days ago, they were starting to get a little bit exposed there. And Pat Mahomes cannot be behind the line running around crazy all the time. Rodney Perry, what you think?
Hey man, I got to give it to you, Frank and Fig. Y'all called it. Y'all hypothesized that concept the other day. I thought it was a piece of trash. I said the man would not go there. I think he might still be a cancer to the team. We don't know why everybody want to get rid of him, but he's a great back. And they got the rookie over there if it don't work out. So it's not a bad choice.
Right. Stack, what you think, man?
It's a cheat code, man. I'm not surprised that he's over there. I want to see how they're going to fit him in. I think his issue was usage, before. So, and when he was in Pittsburgh, I think he had like the highest usage of a running back ever. Right. So it's going to be interesting because Mahomes likes to spread the ball around. They got Kelsey, they got my boy Hill, Watkins might be hurt, but I guess he's coming back. And then they got the rookie. So I want to see if he's going to get enough usage, if he's going to turn into a cancer when he's not getting the ball as much as he wants.
Right. Fig, you said the other day, and I 100% agree with you. You said the other day that he left Pittsburgh. The only reason why he left Pittsburgh was because it was money. Money was the issue. It wasn't. He had to have a drop down. His only reason why his stats dropped down when he went to the Jets was because it was the Jets. Let's be honest. They had no offensive line. They ain't got no quarterback. It was the Jets. And you cannot be a running back without a good offensive line. Sorry. No. Don't you think this makes good purposes?
Look, I'll tell you this. somebody said this morning that he's not what they consider a bell cow back. It means that like when you line up on that 1 yard line and you need somebody to get you in the end zone, it's like he's not that dude. But here's the thing: there's so many other things that he does do. This is not the thing that you want. I'm not going to single out on the one thing that a person can't do when they can do so many other things. I mean, he's elusive. He's patient behind the line. He can catch. He can come out of the backfield and be another receiver. And like you said, he does take a lot of pressure off of Patrick Mahomes being in that backfield. Last but not least, he ain't costing you nothing.
Right.
He ain't costing you no money. That ain't a problem. That ain't affecting your salary cap. He's there for the minimum because the Jets got to still pay him because they released him. So that, to me, as far as I'm concerned, if you're not paying for it and it's free, it's a win-win situation all day, every day.
Low risk, yeah.
Yeah, low risk for them. I mean, I don't know if the Chiefs can get any higher in people's rankings. I don't know if people could even pick them even more now. You know what I mean? I don't think they're gonna get too many more losses. They're gonna get their act together. You know what I mean? And they're gonna make a serious run with Le'Veon Bell. But let me ask you all now about the San Francisco 49ers. Speaking about teams that are going in direction, San Francisco 49ers seem to be going in the opposite direction. I'm gonna ask you, Rodney, start with you, man. Do you think my man Kyle Shanahan gets fed up with Jimmy G and says, you know what, after I know you're injured and everything else, we might have to cut you? In San Francisco Bay Area, they're having a serious conversation of literally Jimmy Garoppolo not starting this week and having a serious discussion about looking at the trade value market so they could trade him. Do you think that's the right move for them, Rodney? What do you think?
I mean, I don't think it's the right move just yet, but I'm very happy that the 49ers are trash because that means they're trash on Madden, and that means that I put my foot in Touré's ass.
What do you think?
I honestly, I don't really want to give up on him yet, but he has a history of being injured. Even when he was in New England, when he stepped up that season that Tom Brady had to deal with the suspension, he only played like 2 games and he was already done. So, I mean, he's not really durable. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if San Francisco moves on.
Stack, I'm gonna just say this to you because you're my fellow Patriot person. If they cut him, you know who's gonna take a run at him. You know,
I know. Yeah, I mean, he's better than Stidham. I'd say that much.
Yeah, if he ain't on the field, if he happens to come back to New England, I'll bet $1,000 that he'll play a whole lot better in New England than he did, again for San Francisco.
The system will help him.
Yeah, definitely. Faye, what's your thought process on Jimmy G, possibly getting cut? You see it as a possibility?
Man, listen, this is what I would call a knee-jerk reaction. No pun intended. To talk about Jimmy Garoppolo and jerk at the same time. So the thing is that this quarterback was in the Super Bowl last year.
Mm-hmm.
And because of all of these injuries that you have, the team is not doing well. And your first response is to get rid of the quarterback that took you to the Super Bowl? That doesn't make sense to me.
That defense took them to the Super Bowl.
And my question is, who are you gonna get for him? Like the NFL is not full of star quarterbacks that's gonna take you to the Super Bowl with half of your team on the injury list. What quarterback is gonna do that?
Big. Let's look at what's going. Let's look at the horizon. Let's look at the horizon. Let's look at the horizon now. Okay, what quarterback right now is having issues with his team that's not doing well? That happens to be America's team that might be available right now, and that could literally walk in the door and take over the entire team and make them continue to go back.
You talking about Dak Prescott?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Dak Prescott is out for the rest of the year.
Dak Prescott leg is broke. But I'm talking about, let's say Dak Prescott ends up getting healed and Jimmy G sticks with the San Francisco 49ers for the rest of the year and they cut Jimmy G in the off season. Anything can happen. This is the NFL, bro. Anything can happen.
I thought my mistake. I thought you was talking about right now during this season. I'm like, that was the mistake.
No, this is what
and we keep the show to one Pelican brief per episode.
Yep. I gotta always throw out the hypotheticals, but
speculation time. That's all.
If you're talking about after the end of the season and Dak becomes available, yeah, I can see them going after Dak Prescott if they're unhappy with Jimmy Garoppolo. But here's the thing. Jimmy Garoppolo's even injured. I don't understand that. It's just like it just seems like it's too fast. You got your whole team on injury, but the one guy that you're gonna get rid of is the quarterback that took you to the Super Bowl.
Right.
That don't even make sense. Everybody's injured.
That defense took them to the Super Bowl.
yeah,
And the defense is decimated, and that's the problem.
and they will be
Everybody
back.
says that you can't get to a Super Bowl without a good quarterback.
And-
He gotta at least be serviceable, somewhere decent.
All right, well let's just table that. And let me just say this for the record. In the NFL, you get graded on your first line, you also get graded on your second line. It's the next man up. So if your team didn't get you back to being good and everything else, that says more about coaching, because we all know that everybody get injured. If one person gets injured, it shouldn't wipe out your whole team. It shouldn't.
I mean, especially this year, with the abbreviated season.
Right. And it ain't one person, it's everybody that got hurt on San Francisco.
Yeah.
They got like 10 guys now.
Yeah, well, actually more than that, but yeah. But let me just say that I want to have another round discussion because the time is rolling out. I want to bring it back to the NBA just for one more thing, because there's a couple of things that's going on in the NBA that people aren't really talking about. And you know me, what you call me, Pelican Brief guy? That's what I'm a Pelican Brief guy. I'm gonna do this. Here's my new Pelican Brief.
Pelican Brief was good.
Here's my new Pelican Brief, Rodney.
I love it.
Okay, the Pacers don't have a coach. The Rockets don't have a coach. OKC don't have a coach, and the Pelicans don't have a coach. Now, mind you, Jeff Van Gundy and Stan Van Gundy. Stan Van Gundy is about to sign with the Pelicans. That looked like he's about to knock that out. Jeff Van Gundy is interviewing with the other teams. With the other three teams. Notice what you don't notice. What you don't hear. You don't hear Mark Jackson. You don't hear Sam Cassell. You don't hear what's the Indiana Pacers coach?
McMillan.
You don't hear Nate McMillan.
McMillan.
Yeah, you don't hear Nate McMillan, but you hear Stan Van Gundy, and you hear Jeff Van Gundy. So my question to you,
Chicago got that other dude. Chicago got a new coach too.
Right now, yes. Let me throw this
They
out.
got Billy Donovan.
Let me throw this out to you, Rodney Perry. Do you think Mark Jackson is going to see any of these positions from the Pacers, the Rockets, OKC? The Pelicans' job is probably going to be gone.
I think he's still on punishment, and he don't get off punishment to what year we in?
2020.
I think his punishment ends 2021, and we won't see him until after that. And he's not even being discussed. That's what I'm basing my take on.
Okay, here's the Pelican part of the Pelican Brief. What if Jeff Van Gundy brings in Mark Jackson to help him sit on this coaching side?
Wow.
Do you think that brings him in?
Now we need the bomb for that one.
Do you think that brings him in and that changes everything? That's what I wanted to.
If you put him on as assistant, I mean, it's probably a step down money-wise from his TV money, but he ain't got to try. He ain't got to travel like that, on alone. And I don't know, man. I mean, that's a great, little Pelican Brief, man. That's wow. I think
that honestly, that'll bring him back into the graces of those of the NBA. I think that's the only way he's going to be able to see the light of day is he has to be an assistant. And who's the better person? He has a great relationship with Jeff Van Gundy. I mean, all he has to do is take a pride down a little bit lower. He has a great relationship with Jeff Van Gundy and walk into somebody and then show the team that he's willing to work with people. But anyway, that's just my Pelican Brief about that stack. What you think?
I can see that happening. That's probably best case scenario for Mark Jackson, because right now the reason why he's getting blackballed is because of ownership. He had issues with the Golden State ownership, and I'm guessing owners talk. So now he's blackballed. Yes. Now, if he can get exposed to other owners, they can have their own experience with him, and Jeff Van Gundy can give the nod of approval. I think he will be, people will be more open to bringing him in.
Now, Fig, I'm gonna ask you the same question, except now I'm gonna add one more piece of paper on top of my brief to add that. The brief is out, okay? Now, here's the final piece of my piece of paper on the brief. Okay, you ready? What happens if it's with the Indiana Pacers?
I think that's most likely.
The Indiana Pacers don't really. I'm thinking about them. I mean, they serviceable, but they don't have like a great team.
Okay,
you know what I mean. They not ready. They not.
But he's perfect for somebody with a suspect team.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying they not.
Think of this.
I mean, if
I look, Indiana, he came from. I mean, he came from. He's familiar with the Indiana Pacers organization.
Family.
Yeah, he's part of their family. He comes in there as an assistant coach with Jeff Van Gundy. Jeff Van Gundy does it for a little while. Jeff Van Gundy leaves. And then who would be the next person up for a position there? And because he knows the system, everything else.
Yeah, I mean, he played there a lot of years and stuff like that. And you know what? I didn't even see that coming, Frank. Like that didn't even dawn on me until you said it, because every time I think of Mark Jackson, I think of St. John's and the Knicks. Even though he played longer for the Indiana Pacers, I always think of, in New York, once a Knick, always a Knick. So we love Mark from New York, but I get it. You know what I mean? The thing is that I hate the fact that the man's not a criminal. He didn't do anything illegal. He didn't do anything to shame the NBA name. And then here you are. It's almost like Mark Jackson. It's almost like he's the Kaepernick of the NBA. And it's just like I hate it. I would rather keep my pride, especially. It's not like he's not working.
What happens
he already has a job as an analyst.
What happens if they take the same team, two guys, and do that for the Rockets? Stack, what you think about that for the Rockets? What if it's Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson now and it's for the Rockets?
In my mind, it just doesn't make much sense to go to the Rockets. I feel like the team is kind of up in the air right now. I think the Pacers have a solid squad, and if Oladipo wasn't hurt, they could have been the 3 seed in the East. With Oladipo, they got TJ Warren, they got Miles Turner, Sabonis, they got Brogdon over there, they got Bogdanovich. Yep. Not only that, they're saying Oladipo is thinking about leaving. And Mark Jackson's really religious. Oladipo's really religious. He might even be able to get Oladipo to stay.
But Oladipo is on the trading block. It's not that he's a free agent like that. He's on the trading block to do that. So there's a conversation about that. But that's why I'm saying to you, like, does it look like it's a better
fit? That's the best player though.
Possibly.
I would like to see him in Houston myself. I mean, I think Houston is poised to make a playoff run with some great coaching.
Right.
I think he could get. I mean, the guy is probably a better motivator than he is an X's and O's guy, and it's something to be said for motivating men, and Mark Jackson can do it.
Listen, that's the same thing we said about Ty Lue,
right? But Mark
manager of players and personalities and stuff like that. You know what? To me, I don't think it. The only reason I don't think it's a fit is because if Jeff Van Gundy he comes from the Pat Riley lineage, you know what I mean? So he's about that defense and he's about effort on the court. And I just don't. I mean, I see it from Russell and I see it from the other guys, but I don't see that from Harden.
Listen,
I just don't. I don't see that from James Harden. I don't see the defensive intensity from a James Harden. I just don't. The last thing I'm just saying, and then you take it, is that if you don't get along, if the star of the team and the coach don't get along, you got a problem.
You cannot take away what Mark Jackson did for the Golden State Warriors, and those NBA players who are on the Houston Rockets would know that. They also would look at that. So I think that would go.
And they had the best defense in the league.
Right.
Him.
And
I think you're talking about Jeff Van Gundy.
I'm talking about Jeff Van Gundy with Mark Jackson as his assistant coach going in together. You know what I mean? And those guys are defensive-minded, defensive-oriented type of thought people. When Golden State had Mark Jackson, Golden State had one of the top 5 defenses when they were playing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But here's the thing. That was my whole caveat to the whole thing. That's not James Harden's makeup.
Mm-hmm. It will be. It will be.
No, I think James Harden gets a bad rap on defense.
He's an athlete.
He's just playing for Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni teams do not play defense at all.
Yeah, and everybody knows that.
There's no defensive philosophy on those teams, but James Harden can D up.
Yeah. I think he could. I don't think it's bad. Anyway, we got to wrap up the show, man. Rodney, where you at this weekend?
I'm here in Atlanta. I'll be home. My man Bill Bellamy is in town. I might go check him out tonight. And so I'll be here in Atlanta. But next week, Chicago, man. RodneyPerry.com is the website, and Rodney Perry Live all social media.
Okay, I appreciate that. Fake, what's going on? How we follow you?
You can follow me on all social media platforms at Comedian Fig, and I'm gonna be following Rodney Perry because he seems to have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, especially in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, yeah, Atlanta's a nice place to visit.
Hey, Rodney, for real, $100 to park and $100 to come in, for real?
Like, on Monday night?
On that Monday night. I mean, you can get in other nights. It's like 20 and 20, but yeah.
Okay, before I go,
if you know somebody, you can get in free.
Rodney, how I sneak in, man? Because I can't let my wife.
I know Rodney Perry.
I can't let my wife know I spent $200 at the strip club, bro. I just can't do that.
You know what, Frank? You got it.
Stack, how do we follow you?
You got a different hat on every day. That's $50 a pop.
Y'all can catch me at Stackinova on Instagram and Twitter. Y'all can also follow my picks on the box seats if y'all want to make some money this season.
Oh, I like that little. See, Stack. I like how you did that little dig.
Since he did that, why don't we give up the standings?
Okay, what I
Rodney Perry over the last 3 weeks has 26 wins. Frank over the last 3 weeks got 28 wins. Talent over the last 3 weeks, 28 wins. Fig over the last 3 weeks, 27 wins. Stacks over the last 3 weeks has 30 wins. So he might be right. If you want to make some money, you better bet with Stacks. But here's the thing.
He's right by 2 games.
Stacks, I need to see how you bet with the point spread.
We get there. We'll get there.
That's a dead heat. That's all even.
Yes, it's all even. It's off by
2 games.
From the top to the bottom is only 4 points.
I picked some long shots that came through last week. I thought it would flip me.
Same here, yeah. The Saints game and the Raiders game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Last week, Rodney, the first week me and you messed up. The last 2 weeks you was 10 for 10, Rodney.
Yeah. Rodney's doing good. I might have to pick behind Rodney because Rodney be picking them long shots. Anyway, y'all.
Frank came out of the gate hot with 10 and 10, and then last week he fell down to 8.
That was those long shots. The Raiders.
That was a tough pick.
Yeah,
but only reason I picked the Raiders because Raiders and KC is a rivalry game.
Yeah,
that's a division game, short week, and then the blueprint was out. I was like, yo, this is it.
Yeah,
Derek Carr was the MVP candidate.
That was a nice call last week.
Y'all got it. Now I have to go. This is the box seats. I'll see you all Monday through Friday. We're on from 1 to 2. Talent will be back on Monday. That's Stack. That's Rodney. That's Fig. We're on every Monday through Friday from 1 to 2. This is a show called The Box Seats. We're on the Humor Mill channel. You can download the app. You can tell a friend. We hope that you do that. And you know what? Next week we're gonna have some guests. We're gonna have some surprises for you all. We're gonna have some giveaways, all that stuff too. So until then, we'll see y'all Monday. Y'all have a great weekend.
And like and share.